This is my wife's 65 Mustang. It's a factory A-code 4-speed car. And I recently pulled the 4-speed out of it and put it in my 32 Ford. So I went looking online for a 65 Mustang C4, or, you know, something close. And amazingly, I actually found a C4 transmission automatic out of a 65 Mustang for sale on Facebook Marketplace. And the guy was swapping his C4 automatic in his 65 Mustang. He was swapping to a T5 5-speed transmission. So I got the automatic, and he gave me the torque converter with it, and the flex plate, and the block plate, and the cooling lines, the kickdown cable, vacuum modulator, metal tubing. I mean, just everything that I could possibly need to do a, you know, top loader 4-speed to a C4 automatic swap. But anyway, he had the Lokar kickdown cable, which is right there. And I'd never installed one before, so I looked up online how to install it, and I figured I'd make a video, you know, theory of operation, how that guy works. It's pretty simple, really. But he didn't have this bracket right here to support it, because I guess they make a bracket that comes with their cable for the throttle. Well, I'm not using a throttle cable, you know, I'm just using the factory rod there for the throttle. So I made my own bracket down there, if I can get some better lighting. Anyway, I made my own bracket down there. And it's really easy to do. You just need something to hold it in place right there. So let's see, there we go. Alright, if you go like this, you can kind of see how that works, maybe. What they do is down on the other end, when you move the throttle, you see we're right in the center of the picture there. It's pulling that lever up. So the original kickdown cable, it would be pushing the lever down, but the lever would be facing forward. Lokar just made their lever face rearward, and then all you got to do is pick that lever up. So here, you see it's just pulling that cable, and then it's pulling it up right there. So that's really simple. There's just a couple things I wanted to point out. Down here, I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's where I've got the bracket up there, right, for the cable. And the instructions tells you to clock that a little bit differently, but what I found out is the shift rod you won't be able to get the shifter. This is the shifter right up here, right? That's the bottom of your shifter, the floor shifter. You won't be able to get it into low if you hook up the kickdown cable the way the Lokar instructions tell you to hook it up. So you have to clock that up a little bit higher. Basically turn that whole bracket counterclockwise a little bit, and then you'll be able to get it into low. They're just assuming that you're using like a B&M floor shifter, something like that, and that you've got a shifter, you got a cable, and not this metal linkage that the 65 Mustang has, right? And then the other thing is, this is a vintage C4 transmission, so we're talking about a kickdown cable. And if you've installed an AOD, an overdrive automatic transmission, then ignore this video completely. And what you want is, you want a video not for a kickdown cable, you want a video for a TV cable, which the automatic overdrive absolutely has to have. And the adjustments are far more critical than a kickdown cable. The kickdown cable right there is a very simple mechanism, and it's just for your passing gear only, whereas a TV cable will impact all of your shifting, you know, while you're driving, all of your upshifts and downshifts. That's the TV cable. But this one, for most of your shifting, you've got the vacuum modulator right there, which just uses manifold vacuum to kind of tell the transmission, you know, where you are, what you're doing on the road, whether you're accelerating or just cruising or whatever. But so you got the vacuum modulator, and you've got the kickdown cable right there. So anyway, that's it. Pretty simple. And once you install it, this steel braided part right here, you'll want to cut that down to size. I had to cut a little bit off of mine, and then put this piece back on. This just pushes right onto there. There's inside there. That's part of the steel braided outer sleeve there, and then that just goes in like that. And then I guess once it's in there, there's nothing that's going to pull it out again, you know? It's not just going to fall out on its own. And then I still have to trim this down. See the cable right there? They give you plenty of cable, so I can just cut that about right there, just past the stop there. Anyway, you see how you got the slack right there? That's how the adjustment works. You just adjust it. Once it's fully adjusted, you're going to have about that amount of slack in it, right? And so I can pull the slack out like that, and then you get in there and you floor it, and see it takes the slack out, and then it starts to pull it. So you make your adjustment while the throttle is floored, and then when the throttle is floored, the gas pedal's to the floor, that's when you want that adjustment right there to be fully lifting up on that lever down there on the transmission. And then when you're back in idle, then you're going to have that slack. If you don't have that slack when you're done installing it, then you did it wrong. And then somewhere around here, there it is. That's how much steel braided outer sleeve I had to cut off.